Dorks and Forks.
All right, and we're back. The Dorks and Forks podcast. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Brian Wild, and across from me, as always, the Reverend Dan Sanchez. We've got a great show lined up today. To my left, celebrity chef from the Stone Balloon Ale House, Robbie Jester.
Thanks for having me. It's a good way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
I really appreciate you doing our show. You've accomplished so much. I feel like you're kind of slumming it here today.
I completely disagree, but thank you very much.
All right. To my right, from thepuppetguy.com, puppeteer and Etch-a-Sketch wizard Lee Zimmerman.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me. I'm looking forward to this.
I kind of went down your YouTube rabbit hole. Heather recommended.
Thanks, Heather. Yeah.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Here we go. It's kind of an Oktoberfest theme.
Cheers.
I know Dan and I were at Oktoberfest yesterday. Kind of got it in a little too much. That was pretty crazy.
It was a good time.
So, cheers. We'll see you guys on the other side. All right, Dorks and Forks. Dan, what's going on? It was your birthday, 37.
It was my birthday. I'm recovering today.
Yeah.
So I appreciate us taking it easy. It was nice. We had a nice weekend. Went to a couple great restaurants locally here. We went to Bardea.
Awesome.
That was delicious. And where else did we go? Bar Roja, right here in Trolley Square. Great new addition to the Trolley Square area.
Yeah.
Some nice Mexican food from the Big Fish Group. Delicious stuff.
Yeah, it sounds
really
like
good weekend.
Sounds like you had a good, exciting weekend.
It was, yeah. Very low key. That's the way I do my birthday. I'm not like, let's party.
I feel like once you get past like 32, you're like the fewer hijinks you can have on your birthday, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you don't want things too exciting, right? But
Can't. Heart attack.
I mean, what I'm completely excited about, I'm telling you, my girlfriend and I, we recently discovered this place called His and Hers Adult Boutique.
Oh?
Located in Wilmington, Delaware. The friendly and informative staff made us feel totally welcome and comfortable while shopping for some fun products to give our relationship a little spice, maybe a little je ne sais quoi, if you will. His and Hers can be your one-stop shop for premium adult products such as toys, lingerie, oils, novelty items, and more. You can shop for products to use on yourself or with your partner, and as we found out, they're sure to both entice and delight. His and Hers is located at 3907 Kirkwood Highway and is open daily. Hours of operation are Monday through Thursday, 10 a.m. to 10 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 10 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Sunday, 12 to 10 p.m. Be sure to stop by and visit and tell them the Dorks sent you.
I just got to jump in with this. I actually buy stuff from His and Hers for the puppet show.
Oh, yeah?
I made a
that's
pole
funny.
dancer. I need a fishnet. Where am I going to go?
Yeah, it's cool.
Delaware. So I actually know this place. It's a killer place.
Yeah, it's a good shop if you're ever looking for.
And the staff is hot. No, I'm just
They are.
Well, there you go.
So how was that? Did I do all right on that first drive?
I thought it was pretty good.
I've heard worse.
It's
I'm
ridiculous.
impressed.
Yeah.
It was Jay-Z like, you know.
Oh yeah.
One take and you're out.
Bang.
Bam.
Poetic.
Cheers, man. Well, talking about one take. So you've got quite the background as a culinary kind of expert.
Yeah, I've been a lucky guy. TV has been nice to me, and they decided to have me on after the first time, so I consider myself lucky.
And this is Food Network.
Food Network,
Yeah.
yeah, correct. So Beat Bobby Flay, Guys Grocery Games, 3 episodes of that. I went on the Thanksgiving episode, should rerun in a couple of weeks, and then I made it to the finals and lost. And then they invited me back for Redemption. Won the first of the Redemption episodes. Won the first in that tournament. And then I was so excited to have won $16,000 that I went and tanked in the first round in the next one and went, took my butt back to Delaware from California. But I made sure I got an InNOut burger while I was
There you go.
So.
I hear the In-N-Out's animal style. I hear that's the
You've
way
never
to
had
go.
an In-N-Out before,
No,
right?
I've never really been west.
They're so good,
Are they?
man.
It is so good.
They're so good.
I didn't believe it, and I had my first one when I was out there on just a casual trip, and then I found out that there was one about 2 miles away from where the hotel was for Guys Grocery Games. So I walked, and later found out that the area that I walked through to get to InNOut Burger was probably not the best area for me to be walking to.
Which one?
But
Hollywood?
it's Santa Rosa, but it's like this weird sort of area. Santa Rosa, walking out there was like, they were like, "Hey man, don't do that again today."
Yikes!
So I was like,
Yikes.
"All right." But loved it. Guys Grocery Games is a great show. He is a phenomenal human being.
Yeah.
He does tons of charity work locally out there. All the food from the grocery store goes to local charities once they're done with it. He's a huge Make-A-Wish supporter, among other things. So in between takes, he was like outside, hanging out with Make-A-Wish kids and stuff like that. So just a great human being. And what people don't know is that he is just all about that, the integrity of that show, each round of that show being true to form and things like that. And, he doesn't like any complaining. And there was a little, we had one of the contestants that like complained a little bit behind the scenes, and he, hit with a pause on the take and, redirected the guy's behavior and then went right into it. So he's like, he's all about the gratitude, and you beat out thousands and thousands of people to be there.
Right.
So, just enjoy it and, follow the rules. The rules are the same for everybody. It's not like they're different. And they are hard. I mean, it is difficult. It is a grocery store that they build in a warehouse. Probably shouldn't have said that.
No.
Well,
but it is a grocery store staged, and you run through the grocery store. The grocery store is not air conditioned.
Oh,
so you're
Kind of like here today. So,
Yeah.
so you're right at home here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. You're just-
And the grill that they have next to you is the hottest grill known to man.
Wow.
I mean, it is unbelievably hot,
and you've got all the lights on you.
the lights and everything like that, and the grill is like lava rock hot.
Wow.
So you run through the grocery store. You have 30 minutes to prep 4 plates. You do 3 plates for the judges, 1 plate for the camera shot, and you have to whatever the game is. So you have to have a budget battle where you have $12.99 to make a Thanksgiving feast, and they give you coupons, or you have to create a meal with all foods that start with the letter R, or you can only buy 6 pounds worth of food, and you have to make this, and this. So it is really challenging. Or here's the Daiso ingredients, and you got to roll the dice, and everybody's got to use radishes, or everybody's got to use queso fresco, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So it's super, super hard. So by the time I did that, then go into Beat Bobby Flay, I felt like Beat Bobby Flay was a lot more simple because all of your ingredients are right there. You don't have to go running through the grocery store.
Right.
You actually have 45 minutes instead of a half hour.
Wow.
And if you get to the round where you go against Bobby Flay, then you know what you're making ahead of time. So you have it figured out in your head versus Guys Grocery Games, which literally the only time you have to think about your item is the amount of time it takes for them to shift the boom on the camera.
Oh, wow.
And that's there. And then he does his little 3, 2, 1 go thing where he never says it the same way, but everybody like stutter steps on their way out and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
And he gets you every time, even though you know it's coming after you've watched an episode. Every single time he gets you.
Now, he also directs the show as well.
So there is a director, but he is very much in control of the show and how it moves and everything like that. So he pitches the cameras around and stuff like that. And the crew is fantastic. And it was really cool going back the second time because the crew the first time was exactly the same the second time around. Like I had the same producer, and you each get a producer. So I had a producer. His name was Rick. Fantastic dude. He's worked on a bunch of other different shows like Project Runway and stuff like that. But they follow you around every single day. And the one thing that you don't know ahead of time is the further you get, the longer the interviews take afterwards. And that's when they do all of the stuff where you're like sitting in a room with like chili peppers behind you, and then you're going, and I'm getting ready to pull out my salmon, and I'm thinking, oh man, I hope it's not burnt. And your producer literally goes through every single step, every single ingredient, and he's like, hey, tell me what you're thinking in this moment. Hey, tell me what you're thinking in that moment. And you have to recap it all as if it's happening right now.
Yeah. Wow.
So the further you get, it's hours afterwards. So when you get to the finals and lose, you're like, oh man. And when I got out of my interview and the guy that beat me was already like in his hotel room, I was like, man, come on now.
Wow.
So yeah, Beat Bobby Flay was too, and it's in the city. So when they do that interview afterwards, like there's trucks coming down the street and like beeping their horns and stuff like that, and you would get through like a full paragraph worth of something, and they'd be like, all right, you got to say it all over again. But that's super cool too. I mean, they really were classy about how they handled everything from start to finish. sending me up on the train and stuff like that. And then, he was very gracious the day of, and they have some producers there that were fantastic. One guy, Cliff, does a lot of like tasty videos now. He's a big Hawaiian dude. He was like my producer on my side of the kitchen. And it's funny because you have one guy on Bobby's side of the kitchen and one guy on your side of the kitchen. When I beat him, he came out, and I haven't been picked up by another man in so many years I can't, but he came and like bear hugged me and picked me up. He was like, "Oh man, that was so awesome," and just super cool. They treat you really, really well.
That's great.
And then you beat him with a scampi?
Scampi, yep, shrimp scampi.
That's good.
Made pasta there, and I had already figured out, like, within 3-minute increments exactly what I was going to do the entire show. Like, I had just rehearsed it in my brain.
Nice.
I got out of my timeline, but then in the pasta rolling, I started rolling pasta with 2 hands. But the coolest part of the day for me, I mean, beating him was pretty cool, but Michael Voltaggio from Top Chef being one of the guest judges, and then Lance Bass from InSync was the second one. So
that's pretty cool.
They make you do something when you run out on stage. And they're like, you got to think of something where you fist bump or you jump up and down or you say something or something like that. And you don't know ahead of time who your guest judge is going to be until you're sitting backstage and they announce them. So when they announced Lance Bass, I was like, I know. So I walked out on stage and I did a little bye thing, like, from the music video.
Right.
He loved
That's
that and
great.
appreciated that. He was really cool too. So
yeah, I hear he's a really nice guy.
Oh, super nice guy.
Awesome.
And really into food. And he got up and walked around and talked. Both him and Michael did. They came out and talked to us on our stations and stuff like that. And Michael was super cool too. And Michael's a Maryland boy originally.
Yeah.
And his brother Brian, he has restaurants in Maryland as well, but his brother Brian has a few more than he does, and I've been down to Volt in Maryland, and it's fantastic. So
yeah, that's great. That's great. So I'm watching the lovely Miss Heather prepare some Oktoberfest treats for us right now, and I really can't wait to sink my teeth into them. But before we talk about that...
Yeah, you're not making scampi for us today, are you?
No, it's one of those things that I do lots of scampi demos and stuff like that. So when I have something like this where it's like free form, I like to do something a little bit different. So we're going to do something a little Oktoberfest inspired. Some chicken thighs, mustard and pretzel crusted chicken thighs, some quick red cabbage kraut, which is kind of like more like braised cabbage than cabbage kraut, but still going with the same flavors. The salty, the sweet. Adding in the mustard and the pretzels there. It should be really good. And chicken thighs is like my ingredient right now. I just love it for everything.
Yeah, and Dan loves the dark meat.
I love dark meat.
Heather just brought us out some nice warm pretzels and a little beer cheese that she made.
Smells great.
That's awesome.
There are a few things more charming than a warm pretzel, the smell of a warm pretzel.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's true.
This cheese looks really good, too.
Yeah, what is that, Heather? It's just beer and cheese?
No, you make a roux and then you add
Oh.
a cup of beer.
Getting
she
all
made a-
fancy. She made a
roux?
roux?
Yes, you made a
Ooh la la. Well, let's try these real quick. They are hot out of the oven, these pretzels. They look great.
Oh, no, babe, you thought cooking for me was bad. Robbie Jester's going to judge you right now on our beer cheese.
I am the easiest dude to please. I am a lukewarm pizza guy at
There
heart.
we go. I like a cold egg roll in the morning.
Oh, man.
Hey, I got to tell you what, guys. We're going to put some pictures of these delicious pretzels on our Instagram. That's at Dorks and Forks on Instagram. You can also follow us on Facebook.
That's true.
/Dorks and Forks.
Spectacular.
This.
Yeah.
You can hear the crunch
Beer cheese is delicious.
on that pretzel. So good. Some ASMR for people. There you go.
It's a pretzel.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like to eat the pretzel?
I like to dip the pretzel
Robbie.
in the cheese.
Robbie.
Real slow.
Come on, do some ASMR.
I'm not sure if I'm even made for that. I just learned about this recently.
Oh, it's so weird.
So
People
this-
love it.
It is. And I was like looking over a kid's shoulder that it's like a prep cook in my kitchen the other day, and he's like got his earphones in and just watching this person chew, and I was like, "What is that?" He's like, "Oh man, it's so soothing." I was like,
No, it's not.
"All right."
And it helps when they're cute, you know?
Right, when it's an attractive person doing it, it definitely helps.
not us,
No.
you know?
No.
Are you aware, Lee, of ASMR?
No.
It's kind of this, how would you describe it? Here,
Audio
let me-
sensory.
audio sensory, but it's basically, Dan, what's it?
It's basically the soothing sounds of eating food, or like pop rocks and popping in the mouth,
Neither of these things are soothing.
gargling beer.
Yeah, and it's weird when they mix it into like porn. Not that I've seen that kind of stuff.
Of course not. But you can probably find that type of thing at His and Hers, right here on Kirkwood Highway.
No.
His and Hers might have some
Wilmington,
ASMR
Delaware.
videos, and if they don't,
No.
yeah, let me look up. Let me just bring this up. What is
ASMR?
people is? Oh, here we go.
All right, Brian, what do they say?
What is this Google search engine thing?
It's called Google. It's the
It's
oldest.
weird.
It's a autonomous sensory meridian response,
There
or
you go.
audio sensory meridian response, characterized by a static-like or tingling sensation on the skin that typically begins on the scalp and moves down the back of the neck and the upper spine. So to create that feeling,
Why?
that's when people the crunch of the
That makes people's hair like stand up on the back of their neck, like they're
doing it
being
to somebody right now.
tickled.
It's happening right now. It's
I don't
somewhere
know
in
if that's
America.
happening. I think people are like turning us off if they hadn't already.
Somebody's turned off. I don't know.
All right, so yeah, I guess you could, after this pretzel, you could go in, maybe start cooking. When we return, the puppet guy,
The puppet guy.
Lee Zimmerman, we're going to talk to him. He's been kind of quiet over there drinking his Dr. Pepper.
Yeah, I'm eating my pretzel,
And
man.
eating
It's
this pretzel.
really good.
It is a really good
Nice
petrol.
warm pretzel. When we
The blue
return,
cheese is amazing.
the puppet man.
Puppet guy. He's
Guy.
not. He refuses to be a man, and I don't blame him.
One more time, ready?
5.
When we return, the puppet guy, Dorks and Forks. So what's better than the burger at InNOut?
I just love those French fries. They're really, really good. They do them right,
Another pretzel, there's 2 left.
and they come in a circular thing.
Yeah, the fries come in a circular,
Yeah,
like kind
more
of
circular.
carton.
And you
Yeah.
can get them animal style, like the burger.
Yeah,
Which is
There's
great.
supposedly some secret thing that you can say. Like, you might want to look it up. There is some secret order you can make it in and out. That is like, you got to know the right phrase. And I've
Okay.
just heard about it forever. I just don't know if it's accurate.
Isn't
I
it
thought
like
you
a-
would know.
Isn't it like a
I don't know,
double
but I've heard
animal
about the same
style
thing.
or
You have
something?
heard it.
What's that?
You have heard it.
I've heard that there's like this item that you order and just verbal it, and they all know it. But the other thing about it is, other than like Chick-fil-A, you're not going to find people more happy to serve you
Yeah.
like than
yeah.
at InNOut.
They're probably getting paid $15 an hour.
Oh, I'd imagine so.
But I think of Clockwork Orange every time I say it. Because
Think
of
of
that
Clockwork-
line from Clockwork Orange, no time for the old in and out.
Oh,
Yeah.
jeez.
He says it on 3 occasions in the film.
Yeah.
So every time we went through, I'm sorry. I can't
So-
imagine that goes on the air.
I'm finding these secret orders at InNOut right now.
Okay.
And we just talked about the animal style fries, so that's definitely one. They know how to do that. Then there's also the Flying Dutchman, which is, wow. It is fried mustard. It's stuffed. We'll put this on the website. It says the Flying Dutchman is with whole grilled onions, fried mustard, and stuffed with fries. It's basically instead of a bun, you get two
2
burger
patties.
Oh,
with the fries in the middle and the cheese.
dude, that's irresponsible.
That's intense. Then there's the Neapolitan shake. You can make a Neapolitan shake,
Oh.
which is pretty cool. Chocolate strawberry vanilla shake there. There's a 4x4, which, let's see, 4 patties, 4 slices of cheese, lettuce, tomato sauce, and onions. That's ridiculous. You go 4x4, and that's what you get. 4 patties, burgers,
Oh.
cheese fries. It's kind of like a given.
So Lee, you
Yeah,
spent a lot
it's
of
crazy.
time out there on the West Coast.
20 years. I was
20
very
years.
happy there.
Yeah. You
Not that I
were,
don't love Delaware. Delaware's awesome, and my family's all out here.
well, tell me a little bit about it. When you went out there and how
It
you
was
started.
91, and I moved to San Francisco first, and that's not where comedy was. So,
Yeah.
and I knew that Venice Beach was just something that I was destined to try, and it just all started there, and it just blossomed out of that first summer in Venice Beach. From there, it went to the Improv, and from that, did a lot of television. Actually, They did a whole episode of the Drew Carey Show based on the puppets. The entire cast turned into the puppets. That was a really big highlight. But it's because of Venice, like I got to work for Frank Zappa. I went out to LA, I will say this, hoping to meet celebrities. It was a big part of my agenda because it's not the celebrity part. The people that I admire became famous because they did something brilliant, and Frank Zappa was somebody I thought I'd never get to meet. That happened within like 4 months of being there.
Wow.
It was one of the greatest things that ever happened, and stuff like I was in a movie with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah.
And we got along on the set. I didn't know he was going to become Quentin Tarantino, and then years later we got to be friends again. So
What was the movie?
it's called Eddie Presley, The Life and Times of Eddie Presley, and the guy that wrote and stars in it is Maynard in Pulp Fiction. He's the one who owns the pawn shop.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right.
Yeah, it's his film. He stars in it. It was a stage play. I'm sorry, I'm looking over it this way. How rude. It was a stage play, Eddie Presley, and then he turned into this feature film. And when they released it, they beefed up Quentin's part. They released it on DVD.
Wow.
He was
That's
great.
so interesting.
That's so cool.
That's so interesting. And I'm also seeing here that you entertained the cast of Seinfeld on their rap party.
That was awesome. That was like, the first night that I worked at the Improv, I worked with Seinfeld. He came up 2 acts later.
Wow.
And I know he hated prop comics. Who wouldn't? I hate prop comics. And the word puppets is just dreadful. I never let him say it before I would take the stage. But years later, I couldn't believe it. He remembered. He said, get that guy for worked right on the street set.
Yeah.
And like they had me move around to different places. I got to do on top of the counter in the kitchen, do all my puppets there. That's
awesome.
That was a real
So what drew you to puppetry in the first place?
total accident. By the way, that's not the great Quentin Tarantino story. That's the boring one. There's the great one comes later if you want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll definitely
Puppeteering
want to hear it.
Is totally because I wanted to be Jimi Hendrix. I was telling this. Saw this Jimi Hendrix movie at the State Theater, and I sucked on guitar. And I went home and I tried and I tried and I tried for like a year, and I just couldn't get good. And I wanted to be remarkable. And turns out I didn't even want to play the guitar. I wanted to be Jimi Hendrix.
Right.
So I made this
right.
puppet when I was 15, and then I was in art school, and I had this puppet to make art supply money. And I went out on the street and like really fast got on TV with that. And it just kept building and building, and I resented it. I didn't like puppets.
Sure.
I liked a toy. I wanted a toy of Jimi Hendrix, and it just kept growing. Expanded the show, moved to LA. It's just kind of, I followed it around. In fact, it's because of this one Jimi Hendrix puppet that I've done all the cool stuff I've ever done.
That's so awesome.
Made it when I was 15, and it's the centerpiece of my universe.
So you hand make all of your puppets.
I certainly do.
And it's a combination of, go ahead and explain it for our audience.
It's a wireframe and then cellular clay over the top. My brother Drew Zimmerman was a master, and he just was a paper mache everything. He still is a paper mache god. And puppets for him was just something he could teach me for my birthday. And he said, "What do you want to make?" I said, "Hendrix."
Yeah.
And that just led to it. And I wasn't going to make a whole lot of characters. But then by the time I hit LA, all this TV work just kept coming up. And the answer to any question in LA is absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course. Unless it's porn, and then you get more money.
Yeah. Well, you got to say it with enthusiasm. Yeah.
I'll do that porn.
You have to say yeah.
We want to get to your story about Quentin Tarantino, and I have 1,000 puppet questions for you, but I want to make sure that Chef Robbie over here can get in the kitchen and start doing his thing. So we're going to excuse him for a moment.
Sure. That sounds good.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Cheers.
All right.
Yeah, we'll see
adios. See you in a bit.
All right, so you're timed. It's 30 minutes to cook for the Dorks and Forks. Ready?
It's going to get real loud in there if I got to cook in 30 minutes.
No, that's fine. You take your time.
It's really a warehouse dressed to look like
That's right.
That's right.
Yep. Behind these windows, we have production assistants.
That's right. And then, of course, you can check out all the pictures of Robbie's food process in the kitchen on our Instagram at Dorks and Forks.
Yeah, and this is a highlight of your career, right? I mean, like cooking for the Dorks and Forks. I mean,
I can't imagine anything going up from here.
Right, you beat Bobby Flay.
Yeah, it's only downhill from here.
It's only
You hung out with
downhill
a guy, and now you're in the kitchen
I'm peaking.
of Dorks and Forks.
Well,
All right.
we can't wait.
Cheers, man.
I'm
Thank you
really
so much.
excited.
Yep,
Thanks,
absolutely.
Robbie.
So, Tarantino, the better story.
Do you really want to hear it?
Yes.
Yeah, let's
That's
do it,
so
man.
good. My ex-wife and I just loved him. And she was a Playboy Playmate of the Year. I got to perform at the Playboy Mansion. That was like the second year that I was there. And I knew her magazine. In fact, I had said to my friend right there on Stinsford Road in Newark, when I saw her issue, I was 14. And I said, I'm going to marry this woman
Get
one
out.
day. And I did. And
So-
when I met her, I said to her at the Playboy Mansion, I've been dating you for 14 years. Excuse me, for 14 years. And years of going to the mansion, it was like 2001. We met in 92, and then 2001. We're leaving for a Halloween party.
Yeah.
Tarantino's walking in. She just exploded. Oh my God! And he just ran over there. Basically, we spoke in shorthand with all of his films. Those first four, at that time it was 3 films. We just constantly talked about them. And I reached in my pocket and said, dude, I would never bother you, but we based our marriage on True Romance. His first film. It was his first script. He didn't direct that one.
Right.
And I whipped out pictures of us getting married at the Graceland Wedding Chapel because the centerpiece of True Romance is Elvis. So I showed him a picture of us getting married by Elvis. He just thought that was the greatest thing. And I said, we quoted the movie in our wedding vows. And he's like blown out of the water. He remembered her. He's like, he remembered her cover. Deborah Jo, oh my God, you're Deborah Jo. So a couple days later, we got an invite to his house. We started hanging out with him at his house.
Wow.
And I don't know if you remember Dorothy Stratton. She was the Playboy playmate that was murdered.
Right, yes.
Her little sister wanted to know all kinds of Dorothy stories. Deborah knew her. So we were hanging with Quentin and Dorothy at Quentin's house watching on his enormous screen. Like it's his... we never went to the main house. We just always hung out in his projection private theater, which his television was the size of this wall. I mean, it was just massive. And his theater is a real theater with theater seats, cup holders in the seats, reclining chairs, the whole deal. It's like 50 seats. And he was just the coolest guy. There's all this great Pulp Fiction stuff, not memorabilia, but art that people had produced for him. Wow. It's just incredible. We're hanging out with him for like an entire winter and a part of the summer. And then he invited us to come and see Pulp Fiction at his house. Actually, his girlfriend called and said, we want you to come out. Members of the cast will be there, and we'll be talking about production. Basically, it was going to be a live-action writer, director, commentary.
Wow.
And Deborah didn't want to go. Deborah Jo did not want to go because she'd seen some stuff there that she was long past. Let's put it that way. And she just it made her uncomfortable. We knew everybody that was going to. She knew everybody. She was pretty famous on her own.
Yeah.
So when we get there and get this invitation, it was just impossible for me to wrap my head around the fact we are turning this down.
Yeah.
And he calls personally. It was the one and only time he called personally. He goes, you do understand what I'm talking about? I said, Quentin, I completely understand. We're having the biggest fight we've had this entire year. I don't know what to tell you.
Wow.
He goes, put her on the phone, and she wouldn't budge. And years later, she still regrets it. I talked to her today. We did not mention it, but I sent her to the new film, which is his best film ever. And it's the reason that I'm moving back to L.A. Watching this new film, A Love Letter to Hollywood.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, I just sat there. I've seen it 4 times now. I sat there and I thought, I have to get back. He loves his city.
Yeah.
This film, I don't know if you've seen it yet. And when I meet him again, I'm going to say, I'm only back because of you, dude.
Of you. Yet again.
So the punchline of all that is he remembered us enough to talk about us on the True Romance commentary when it came out. So he mentions Deborah and I in this commentary, and he's just like, and they mentioned, he mentioned the Graceland Wedding Chapel, and if you go there, you could still see a portrait of us on the wall in Vegas.
Awesome.
If you go there next to Bon Jovi and the drummer from Def Leppard.
Oh man,
Wow.
Maybe we'll see if we can do some kind of audio pull of that piece of commentary from True Romance. That'll be really cool.
I hope that wasn't too long, but that was to fly over the version in a helicopter and describe stories.
So they were there was these crazy sex parties at these premieres.
Whatever imagination you think of the mansion, that's what it was.
Yeah. Wow.
It was exactly what your imagination says the Playboy Mansion was. We saw so many awesome things. If it wasn't for the non-disclosure agreement.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And you've got a lot of other Hollywood crazy.
Tons. Oh man, like I said, it was, and for a while there, I was just on this strange energy where they just kept walking up, and it was always people that I admired. The one and only guy I did get to meet him. Of all the people that I wanted to work with, I just kept doing that. My favorite drummer, Terry Bozzio. Yeah. He wanted me to open for him, just so he could put on the Hollywood Palace marquee, Puppet Show and Terry Bozzio. So he could do the Spinal Tap joke.
Yes.
And my original drummer was going to be Terry Bozzio, and that was just a weird connection. That led to the Zappa thing the next night, and then I worked for Zappa's again years later. Lisa Loeb did a video, and I made this Hello Kitty puppet that played the guitar, and Dweezil directed, and it was like all these circles kept getting closed. I'd known of Deborah Jo for years. On our first date, we just knew we were going to be lifelong partners, and it just all this stuff just kept happening. Another one was Guns N' Roses. I did their final rap party, and Zappa was a good one. Seinfeld was a good one. I'm sorry, I actually wrote down
sounds like a lot of fun.
just a couple weeks ago, Tame Impala. Do you guys know the band Tame Impala?
No.
Kevin
Not.
Parker.
Yeah.
We're on Saturday Night Live. Do you?
No, she does.
I made his manager hired me to make a portrait of him, and he posted on his Instagram. People are going nuts. He loves his puppet. He asked for a second one, so I made another one that he uses bare feet on pedal board. So I made this pedal board with magnets in it, so the puppet can touch all the
that's
buttons.
awesome.
Really excited about that one.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
It just seemed like for a long time there, it was just celebrity after celebrity that I admired. It wasn't, and celebrity isn't it. It's the stuff they did to become famous.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
That blows me out of the water.
But you had this hair back in the 90s.
See, that was the
and I
ticket.
feel like it was the
was.
hair that got you in.
It was.
It was glorious. It was
No.
like something out of a Bon Jovi video.
Yeah.
The week
Yeah.
that I met Deborah Jo, I also met Demi Moore. And Demi Moore had her assistant call me and ask me out.
Come on.
And
No.
I know. I'm
Come
looking
on
at me
now.
too. I have a mirror. I know. I have a mirror, dude. But it was the hair. The hair
That
was
hair.
like,
Yep.
it was everything. It was something to hide behind, as Hendrix used
Yeah.
to say.
And
And it was the
Something to hide behind.
90s, too. So
It was perfect timing. And I had to say no because she hired me to do the National Lampoon Loaded Weapon.
Yeah.
And Deborah and I just met. She would not let me go alone. And she wore this top that was diaphanous, tied in the center. The crew was going nuts. And I could have dated Demi Moore.
Oh,
But
wow.
Deborah Jo, I knew it was her forever.
Yeah, yeah.
She's my hero.
What's the age difference between you and Deborah?
She's
Jo?
7 years older.
All right. Yeah, that makes. Because you were 14 when you first.
I was
saw
14 when
it.
it took me 14 more years to close the deal.
Right. Now, I also see. Well, it happens. I also see that you opened for Cher. What was that experience?
That was
like?
pretty cool. Kiss FM
Yeah.
did this event. And I met Chaka Khan that night.
Oh, wow.
I met Natalie Cole again. I'd met her actually here. Remember Pulsations?
Oh, yeah.
that
Sure.
Terrible,
Oh,
cheesy
yeah.
place. Met her there. And Poison. Remember the band Poison? Jade Starling. I met her there. Opening for Cher was good.
That's
And
awesome.
I got on famously with her son because I knew he was going to talk guitars. We just talked guitar stuff all night.
That's great. That's great.
Elijah Blue.
So, but you originally went out to LA to be a comedian. Is that what I'm understanding?
The show, though. I mean, using
Right.
the puppet show. But when I got there, they did have me. They said, it's not always the puppets. You don't have to do that. So I did some MC work.
Right.
Without the puppets, I was terrified because just like the hair, something to hide behind.
Right. Right.
And I was just terrified. But I had the hair, so I was okay. Hide behind the hair and walk out on stage
Yeah.
and talk. But the TV thing, man, I'd worked in some special effects in San Francisco making miniatures.
Okay.
For ride simulators.
Oh.
So I did some of that. I mean, basically, it's like do a million things when I was in LA.
Yeah.
One after the other.
Yeah. We're going to take a quick break and address some technical issues I think we might be having with some sound.
Well, no, that's the pans in the kitchen.
Oh, that's Chef Robbie Jester
That's
getting
him,
hot and heavy back
with
there.
with the chicken thighs. So
Oh, that's the sizzling of a chicken thigh that
Yeah.
I'm hearing.
I had to take the earphones off to see what that was.
Whoa.
Oh no, it smells great.
He's going to town.
Oh, Mackenzie's back there with him. Here, watch out.
Oh,
That's
she's fine.
Mackenzie hanging out with a Food Network
She's
star.
fine. He might be professional, but I'm a way better chef. No.
So, what else do you have on those index cards?
I just remembered a good one. Working
Yeah.
for Slash at his house.
Get out.
Oh yeah.
So how did that come about?
That was his manager thought I was going to do the video for them, and said you should see this guy's show. And he brings me to Slash's house. It's what led to the Guns N' Roses final rap party, where Axl sat right there with his back to the show. Because he had heard that I have an Axl Rose puppet in the show that I treated really poorly, and Slash loved that. He picked up the puppet and he goes, "Hey, this looks like a chick I used to date." He hated, but I went to Slash's house and it is incredible. He's the nicest guy in the universe.
Yeah.
His entire house is terrariums, not terrariums, herpetology stuff. It's just he has snakes on every wall going up the staircases.
Oh yeah.
Just an incredible guy. And I went upstairs and I ran my finger up every one of his guitars in his private studio. It was right when they were about to break up. And he said something really amazing. He watches the show. He stares at me. I finished the Hendrix puppet. He looks over at me and he goes, "You're scary, dude. You're the scariest guy in all of rock and roll." But then he says, "It's a little thin."
Yeah.
It's a little thin for this music video that Gary Goldman ended up doing with the band called Gary Oldman. Sorry, it was their cover of Skyliner's song that I love, "Since I Don't Have You."
Yes.
So it was the spaghetti incident, and I was really he's blown away. I could see that he's blown away, but it was too thin. I never forgot that. He was thinking it was going to be darker, more grotesque.
Sure.
And then I ended up working for him a couple more times after that. He was just one of the coolest guys. When I look at the index card, that one jumps out.
That's
Such
awesome.
a great guy.
That's awesome. Well, you're going to do a show for us later, right?
Can't wait.
Yeah. So when we return, it smells like
Smells good.
It smells great. Seems like it's almost done. So when we return, Robbie Jester's going to join us again. We're going to eat some food. We're going to talk a little more, and then after that, we've got Lee Zimmerman going to perform a puppet show for us.
Puppet Guy.
All right,
You
man.
can check him out on thepuppetguy.com, by the way.
Yeah. We'll be right back. Dorks and Forks. Dorks and Forks.
Dorks and Forks. Dorks and Forks. Dorks and Forks. Dorks and Forks.
So we're back.
So, Brian,
Yeah.
Lee and I were just talking
Oh, that's good.
while we were smelling this delicious food that
It does
Chef
smell
Robbie
great.
has. And we were talking about, art house movies and that kind of stuff. And he asked me a great question. What's my favorite film?
And you.
And, well, the reason behind it, Lee, if you want to say, like, that's that unifying...
It's my unifying theory that
Yeah.
your favorite film speaks volumes about you. And usually you can give them 2 to 3 films because nobody can
Right.
single it down.
Right.
Sure.
But if you had one,
So if I have one, and you know what, it's a
man.
kind of a trite answer among people my age in particular,
Yeah.
but I really just like it from start to finish. It's a beautiful story. It's well told, and it has a beautiful picture. It's The Shawshank Redemption.
that's beautiful.
The
Shawshank.
Shawshank Redemption. It's just and I do like my favorite movie. I do differentiate between like my favorite film and my favorite movie. My favorite like fun movie. Like I love the Back to the Future movies. They teach those movies in filmmaking class. To tell about plot exposition, and it's perfectly set up.
It's
Yeah.
okay. So that was for years my favorite film of all time.
Yeah.
Back to the Future. I used to carry a slice of the 35mm print because I was an usher when it came out.
Shut up.
You are not making it up. It is perfect. The first act sets up the
brilliant.
second act perfectly,
Yeah.
and it ties together. It's a solid circle. That
Yes.
film is unlike any other film.
Yeah, they don't
It is
make movies
professional.
like that. We were actually I have a edit of Back to the Future that I made myself. That is Back to the Future.
Nice.
It's one solid from
Oh, I
start
want
to
that.
finish, and it is amazing. And it's just the movie's perfect.
Yeah.
It perfectly sets up everything. You see, I mean, there's a scene that's cut out right after Marty gets home and like the car's wrecked from Biff wrecked the car because George didn't tell him there was a blind spot, which is so ridiculous. And he spilled beer all over himself. But anyway,
The car towed all the way here. All you have for me is a light beer.
a light beer, right? So, but right after that, in the original script, and they actually shot it, Biff leaves, and Marty and George are talking about, like, Dad, why do you have to be such a pushover? Can't you just say no? And then this neighbor walks in with his kid, who's like, it's kind of like a Girl Scout thing. He's like, hey, my kid's selling these peanut brittle. I can put you down for a case, right, George? And he's like, yeah. And then it's like, oh man, here's a case of peanut brittle. And then that's when it cuts to the dinner scene,
where is he?
and he's pouring the peanut brittle into the bowl
And
when they're
Marty's
watching the
shaking his
honeymoons.
head.
Right. And he's like, oh, Dad, you just couldn't say no. But it's like little pieces. They're perfectly setting up his weakness for when you see him punch, knock Biff out later. And it's those little seeds that they plant all throughout. Same thing with the Shawshank Redemption.
That's a great
You know?
choice.
Yeah.
May I ask what yours is?
My favorite film? Oh boy.
Shawshank's such a good choice, mate.
Well, I don't know. I've got the Citizen Kane
Citizen
poster.
Kane, yeah.
I know, like when I was a kid, it was more like Orson Welles that inspired me. It wasn't so much a film; it was the filmmaker.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Orson Welles. Any Army of Darkness, kind of Evil Dead.
Sure.
Those are
Love
one of
it.
my favorites.
I have an ash.
Yeah.
Do you have an
an
ash?
ash.
You have an
Oh,
ash
yeah,
puppet?
You have
Yeah.
an ash
Oh,
puppet?
get out.
Oh, yeah. I made 2 now.
Oh, what?
Yeah, but go
He has
ahead.
the
sounds pretty
chainsaw
cool.
hand.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, that's pretty cool.
brilliant.
And the boomstick.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Chainsaw in one hand, boomstick in the other. But continue. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
the boomstick one. Like, for our cult movie night, I just put up a poll, like, who wants, because we have an Halloween, the last Tuesday of October is a second showing of our cult movie night. And I put up like a poll, like, for a creature double feature, because we're doing a Night of the Living Dead here the first Tuesday. And so it was like, what do you want? Like vampires? Do you want werewolves? Or do you want Deadites?
Deadites.
So it's Army of Darkness. It's the Lost Boys and American Werewolf in London.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
there's-
which would you rather see out of those 3 films?
Out of those 3,
Yeah.
Army of Darkness. You can't go wrong.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
so
it's so
funny.
good.
It is so funny. But American Werewolf it still holds up.
Well, it also has
It's
the best.
practical special effects, but they're actually
Yeah,
they're
really
brilliant.
good.
It's like the top werewolf transformation scene
Ever.
in cinema.
agree.
Ever.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
and
best
it's
transformation.
like you said, it's practical. I remember watching behind the scenes for that, and they're just like a lot of it was shot in reverse, you know. So like it's when the
Everything
hairs are
retracts.
growing, they're actually retracting in, and then they just roll it backwards.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But then you see that the face, how it elongates, you
Yeah.
know, into the snout, and like, oh, it's
So
just such a
good.
brilliant
Fingers.
transformation. The
Yeah,
fingers
fingers
stretching,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh my god,
Yeah,
just
so-
brilliant.
I
And
think
so
that's why
clever.
they're-
It's just really,
Yeah.
really funny. I think Atlantis is best.
Yeah, and it's pretty funny too. Like leading up to it.
No,
Like,
I
it's
was
kind
actually
of a
just
funny movie.
I was actually just thinking like they don't make movies like that anymore. And if I had to think of like a funny horror movie outside of Shaun and the Dead or something like that,
Yeah.
but in that same vein, it's a horrible movie, Idle Hands.
Yeah, but
But it was that kind of like he has the zombie friends and they
Yeah.
talk to him, and it's like very similar.
So funny you say that. The connective tissue between Lost Boys, which you mentioned, like it's not one of my favorite films of all time, but Joel Schumacher at
Yeah.
the time, because that's right in the same window as he said, I don't know how to describe it in the filming and the studio saying, well, what is it? Is it a comedy? Is it a horror?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
all of those
American
things.
Werewolf was all these things.
Absolutely.
Plus Jenny a Gutter.
Oh man, oh man. I think a lot of young men, a lot of young boys became men.
An accent will do it.
Yeah, yeah. Thanks to American Werewolf for sure. That's so
Some great
funny.
choices, but I also really respect your saying, it's Wells. Because you can also say Kubrick. I mean, I used
Sure.
to say my favorite film is Stanley Kubrick.
Yeah, anything
Because
like
there's
Kubrick.
like 9 of those that are
Right.
just solid as series that
Right.
you can,
I'll watch 2001: A Space Odyssey any day.
yeah.
All day, any day.
yeah.
That's great. So
Yeah,
wait, what's
Kubrick's
your
awesome.
favorite film?
Well, it's always been True Romance.
True. Oh,
And that's
yeah,
why
there
when
we
I
go.
met him,
So
I
back to
wasn't
where we
lying.
were, yeah.
And that's why he mentions it he could see it in our eyes. We weren't kidding. If you ask Deborah Joe to this day, she'll say True Romance.
Yeah.
Now,
We
Deborah
just
Joe,
loved it.
what did Deborah Joe do?
She was a Playboy Playmate of the Year.
In
78.
That's right.
So I saw her. I was 14.
We'll post a
Yeah.
picture of her cover on
You
Instagram.
got it. She was famous for her long blonde hair, which came to her ankles.
Oh,
And then she had a whole career lined up that would have been incredible. Roman Polanski handpicked her. She had a screen test with him, and Hef himself killed her career. He actually said, "In your contract, we're not going to let you do these things."
Right. We own your image, right?
So she worked with Robin Williams and More Committee. She did a bunch of stuff,
Yeah.
but she was owned. And so she missed out on that. She was a pretty talented actress. It was kind of a drag.
yeah, it happens. It happens. But you know what else happens, Brian?
what's that, Dan?
People sometimes they have one talent in one thing, but they're also very talented in something else. Like the puppet guy here is also the Etch-a-Sketch guy.
Yeah, you do Etch-a-Sketch.
True.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
like speed Etch-a-Sketch portraiture.
Yeah, there are people all over the world now that do it, but I
Right.
do it really fast.
Yeah.
And when I do this, I do show. Actually, I did this character at Seinfeld's rap party.
Yeah.
It's a red suit with Etch-a-Sketch buttons for the buttons, and I walk around from table to table and I take requests. What do you want to see? And I can do it in under a minute or under 3 minutes. I can write your name upside down backwards. I can do all kinds of stuff. I'm going to maybe do a portrait of. I was thinking
of
of
Robbie?
doing that. See how fast I could do it.
Of Robbie?
Or pornography.
Okay, so either Robbie or pornography.
Yeah.
Wow.
Tough call, but
What about
maybe
Robbie
Robbie
in-
doing pornography?
Yeah,
Porn-
Robbie
But I love
in
him so
food
much.
pornography. Robbie is ready to
right,
plate up
he's
some food. When we come back, Brian, what are we going to do? We're going to eat some delicious food from Chef
Yeah.
Robbie Jester, and we're going to have a speed portrait
Yeah, from Lee.
the Etch-a-Sketch guy, Lee Zimmerman.
This would be cool.
We'll be right back.
Nice to it. Dorks and Forks.
All right, Chef.
All right, so we're back.
Welcome,
Dorks and
welcome.
Forks.
Thank you.
Robbie Jester came in. Everything's plated up. It looks delicious.
It does look delicious. Tell us one more time what you've made for us, please, Chef.
Yeah, so we have pretzel mustard crusted chicken thigh with what I'm calling quick kraut for the day, but really braised red cabbage, which is one of my favorite things. Actually, something I had never had until I went to culinary school. I learned how to make it there, and I pretty much make it the same way. A little sweet, a little sour, a little salty, but perfect for that Oktoberfest theme. And then impromptu, made a little bit of Oktoberfest. We use Yingling Oktoberfest, a little bit of onions, thyme, and made kind of a beer blanc. So
Beer
a
blanc.
version of a beer blanc. But with some fancy schmancy Oktoberfest beer to tie all the flavors in together. So should be delicious. I like the thigh because it's moister than the.
We all love the thigh.
I
And yes,
love
we
it.
are.
than the breast.
I'm a thigh man.
We are pairing this, of course, drinking the Yingling Oktoberfest, and it's their homage to a German heritage beer. According to their website, it's copper in color, and the medium-bodied beer is a perfect blend of roasted malts with just the right amount of hops to capture a true representation of the style. I got to tell you what, I'm not going to lie, I'm not a heavier beer drinker. I'm happy with a PBR or a Natty Boh. And I said earlier, off camera or off microphone, like, do you like the beer? And I'm like, no. Yes, I actually do really like this beer now. I've had 2 of them, and it's a very palatable flavor. It's very
delicious.
smooth. It's not like, those hoppier IPAs. It has a perfect blend of everything. So check out the Yingling Oktoberfest. Brian, how's the dinner?
Well, let me just say it's a treat what you have made for us today. When it comes to overall appearance, flavor, the consistency of the chicken, cooked perfectly. This mustard, this briny from the slaw, and the beer blanc, as you call it, the nuts or the pretzels. I'm sorry, adds this crunch, and the textures. It's delicious. I mean, it's a treat, and thank you for coming to do this.
Let me get some ASMR on this one.
Oh my God!
It's an 11.
Thank you very much.
No,
It's
dude, this is
incredible. And you've read about the textures, like the most important thing. This is amazing.
yeah, it's a really nice coupling of
Well,
textures for sure.
and then you get the mustard seed, right?
Yep.
So that kind of pops in your teeth. There's so many different things going on in your mouth when you eat this dish.
You know what's funny is when you first get out of culinary school, you find yourself like, but how can I show more flash? How can I show more of my technique? How can I put more things on the plate? So you're like, oh, I want to do a sauce of this and a vinaigrette of that, and I want to do potato in 3 textures, and I want to do all this stuff. But then once you really figure out that it's just about how things taste, you start to take things off the plate. And this is, like I said, chicken thighs. You really can't go wrong there. Braised cabbage is one of my favorite things because it hits all of the sweet, sour, salty, bitter flavor profiles. You have a little umami here with mustard seed. But from a chef's perspective, it's funny, I cling to braised cabbage. There was a diner that was open 24 hours a day down the street from culinary school when I went to CIA, and they had roast chicken and braised cabbage, and it was on the menu all day long. You get a half chicken and braised cabbage, and it was one of the best things ever. They're still open up the street. I can't remember what the name of them is.
Oh, man.
But it's fantastic.
This is so good.
And cabbage is supposed to suck, right?
Yeah,
People aren't supposed
it's
to
one of
enjoy
those
this.
things that people don't like.
I heard you say the word. I'm like, that's great. I can't wait.
I really don't want
This is
cabbage.
delicious.
I love it. This is so good. So good. You knocked it out of the park, Chef.
Thank you very much.
For sure. And again, we'll have some videos of Chef's preparation of this delicious meal and the final product on our Instagram at Dorks and Forks Chef. Tell us a little bit about where we can find you online and taste your food in person.
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as finding me online, I have my own website, www.robbiejester.com, but then on Instagram, Robbie_Jester. Facebook, you can just search Robbie Jester. But then I work for High Five Hospitality. We have 11 restaurants altogether, but I'm in charge of Stone Balloon Ale House, Limestone Barbecue and Bourbon, and Expectation, which just opened in July. So we really have concepts that run the full gamut. You can come to Stone Balloon and get a nicer experience. You can come to Limestone and get counter service style Texas barbecue sliced in front of you, smoked that day. What a lot of people don't know is a lot of barbecue restaurants, what they do, especially if they're not chef driven or something like that, they smoke like the chicken on Monday,
Right.
and then the pork on Tuesday, and then they reheat it every day. But
Right.
at Limestone, we literally smoke every single thing that you have that day. So once it's sold out, it's sold out.
Wow.
It's the freshest that it could possibly be for you.
Wow.
But I also have healthy home meal delivery. It's called Full Circle Food. It's www.fcfoodgroup.com. So that's my newest venture. I have a business partner, Tim Bolt. He and I met at culinary school. And we do gluten-free, dairy-free meals, 500 calories and under. So if you're somebody who has a busy schedule, trying to eat right, maybe has kids, doesn't have time to prepare, or you tried out one of those like HelloFresh or one of those like meal kit kind of things, Ours are fully prepared there for you. I find the convenience to be unbelievably helpful for me, because I might be going from the stone balloon to limestone or from full circle to expectations, and just having that meal to pop in the microwave, eat, enjoy, and to know that it's healthy. For me, my business partner and I have probably lost about 70 pounds together.
Wow.
Eating the meals, and it doesn't feel like we're depriving ourselves because it's chef-driven meals, and we
Right.
really try to focus on technique to really get the same flavor profiles that you would.
Yeah.
So we do, like, for instance, a perfect example. We do a no sugar added barbecue sauce. It's a roasted red pepper barbecue sauce.
Yeah.
We slow caramelize the onions. We add a little bit of cinnamon in there because we're all pre-programmed to think that cinnamon is a sweet thing. So we put a little bit in there, and it tricks like your brain into thinking that it tastes sweet. And it's very simple: roasted peppers, tomatoes, just cooked that way. But I really enjoy it, and we try to do things like that where technique is at the forefront of what we're doing. It's fresh. It's meals for the week. Super convenient, super helpful for anybody. I mean, we have families that do it. We have singles that do it. Everybody has a different lifestyle now, so somebody might have. For instance, they're a programmer, but they work mainly overseas. So their work time might be from 1 a.m. till 9 a.m.
Right.
So nothing is available for them when they would go on lunch break, so to speak. Mm-hmm. Maybe a 24-hour diner if they're close enough to it. So this kind of fits everybody's lifestyle.
Yeah.
We're glad to offer it, and we've been very fortunate because it's going very well.
And what's the price point on those meals?
So the price point goes from, the more you buy, obviously, the cheaper it gets. But it goes from, I want to say, $14.50 for per meal for 3 meals, up to a 10-meal plan, which is $10 a meal.
Wow. That's great.
And we throw some seafood options in there as well. They're not on there every week, but pretty much every other week. There are some weeks where we do seafood in concession, but we just believe in, we want to do the right thing by our guest, our customer.
Yeah.
Offer a nice variety. We do have some staples for people that get used to, like to have the same thing every week for a little while. We offer breakfast options and things like that, but mostly just entrees and dinners. And we try to do fun takes on different things. So we do like a chicken marsala. That's not the sauce is made with butter, and the chicken is not drenched in flour.
Right.
It's more like just sauteed chicken, reduced well with the marsala wine sauce and things like that. We did a chicken sausage, pepper, and onions. We sourced a chicken sausage with spicy chicken sausage, did peppers, onions, homemade pomodoro sauce, and then do zucchini noodles. So simple swaps and stuff like that too, where people that are used to, like, the one thing that you always hear when somebody's trying to eat healthy is like, I just love pasta. Mm-hmm. So we try to do a lot of plays on that pasta texture, or rice as a texture, to get healthy. But I think it's convenient. I think for the price point for chef-prepared meals delivered to your door, I think you really can't beat it.
You can't. That's a really good deal. You definitely can't beat that.
And we did our research. We tried some of the other stuff, and some of the meal companies that come in a little bit less in price. Honestly, the meal container fits in the palm of your hand, and it's meant for somebody that's like bodybuilding or something like that. That's eating 8 meals a day, 9 meals a day, really pacing it out. So ours is more for the regular folk.
Right. So, and that website again was Full Circle.
So the website for that is fcfoodgroup.com.
fcfoodgroup.com.
Yeah, over here we have Lee.
Who has been fervently
he's been
making his Etch-a-Sketch
kind of looks like
portrait
Jesus.
of Robbie Jester.
Robbie.
That's pretty good.
That's
Fervently
That's real
making
good.
this.
So yeah, Lee has.
Boom, and now it's gone. And now it's gone.
Oh, we were.
the beauty of it.
quickly.
Why would you? We were going to take
We
a
got
picture.
video. No, it's okay. We got video.
All right.
We got video. There's evidence.
I love pretty cool though.
What I love about this Etch-a-Sketch though is that one of the dials is just like it's busted, and there's so much of the inside
Isn't
on
that
the
like
outside
poisonous
right now.
mercury or something?
It's delicious. It's graphite.
Graphite, just like Mom used to make.
Oh man.
Mm.
Well, speaking
Well,
of
coleslaw.
yeah, so how long have you been doing the Etch-a-Sketch thing?
Been an Etch-a-Sketch club member since I was 6.
Wow.
And I tend to erase them really fast. I have a couple if you go to Hollywood Boulevard, the Lace Gallery. And what's cool about those is they hung them on the wall. And in the big earthquakes,
Oh, no.
it fades up.
Oh.
An effect I could never draw.
Wow. Yeah. Right.
awesome.
That's so funny.
And they're like, can you fix it? I said, no, never. And the other thing is some of the guys, they drill out the back and they spray fixative. You never do that. That
Oh.
ruins the idea of
That's
the
like that's
Oh,
not
I
the point of the
see.
Etch-a-Sketch. Yeah.
Oh, so
Correct.
once you draw something, they'll spray it.
And then it stays.
Correct.
But I'm sure people often ask you to do like the Statue of Liberty, the Eiffel Tower. You get all like the trite stuff, right?
Well, when I'm doing the the Etch-a-Sketch guy. I just go around from table to table and say, what's your favorite animal? Or
Right.
I'll do their name upside down or
Oh.
backwards or something like that. You know.
And where could people find your information?
Etch-a-sketchguy.com.
As well as thepuppetguy.com.
Here, we'll do mine.
And I think you have a
upside down and
Facebook
backwards.
for those things as well.
Everything's got a Facebook on it.
Yeah. Good. Look at that.
Well,
Writing
That's my
Zimmerman
name,
backwards.
upside down and backwards. Here we go.
That's impressive.
Zimmerman, and then here we'll do the Lee really quick. Here, and then we got to come and dot the I. There you go.
Wow.
Zimmerman.
That's amazing.
could you do a Dorks and Forks?
Absolutely.
All right.
Maybe like when we return,
when we return.
Lee
You got a
Zimmerman.
logo or anything that I can work from? Anything cool?
Yeah. We'll
Yeah.
get you something. And
Yeah.
we're also going to have dessert for my birthday. My
Oh,
very
yeah, you
good
brought
friend
carrot cake.
Ashley Bruce made her homemade carrot cake, and she makes it so amazingly. And I'll share a couple of her secrets on her homemade carrot cake when
Very
we come
cool.
back.
Dorks and Forks.
The other thing I can do is just chew it up and spit it out,
Yeah.
which I've done before.
Yeah, well, okay.
Not carrot cake. So the ladies we're back. Dan, we're back. The ladies are plating up
Yes, they are.
some carrot cake,
Here it
some
is right
Dan's
now.
carrot cake.
So yeah, my very good best friend in the whole wide world, Ashley Bruce, makes my favorite cake. I'm not a sweets eater at all, and carrot cake has always been one of my favorites. My mom used to get it for me when I was a kid. Yada yada. Long story. But a lot of people when they make carrot cake, Robbie, you can push it away. You don't have to eat it. It's okay.
Oh, I want to.
He's on
I
a
want
cleanse,
to.
people. He's on a cleanse, so it's all right.
Could give him
A lot of
smaller-
people-
I could give him a smaller piece.
A lot of people when they make carrot cake or you get carrot cake a store bought one, it's dry. It's not it's not great. Well, she has a little secret, so let's all dip into this
It
real
would be
quick.
nice though to have his opinion though
Right.
on her
if
cake.
he wants to take a bite, he's
No.
welcome to take a bite and spit it out.
Maybe just the backside of a fork.
I will taste it and spit
All
it
right,
out.
There we
all
go.
right,
There we go.
Yay, Robbie's in.
I will.
So everybody dig in, take a bite. It's so delicious. Again, you can find pictures on our Facebook and Instagram at Dorks and Forks.
What could be a bigger ego builder than, yes, shit, Bobby, spit out my food.
It was so good. Robbie spit it right out. No. It's moist, right? It's crunchy.
It's like the gateway drug.
Right. So yeah,
He's
spit it
gonna
out
spit
now
it out.
because he's like, I'm going to eat 20 more pieces of this if I don't spit this out right now.
And
He's on a
drink-
cleanse. He's not saying the cake's bad, by the way. He's on a cleanse, so he just doesn't want to get that sugar rush.
It's incredible.
to open the gates.
And then
Lee
all of a
likes
sudden
it,
he
right?
starts- All of a sudden he pounds a 6-pack.
So, are you ready for the secret of there's raisins in here. There's walnuts in here. She made a hand, cream cheese icing, the whole 9 yards. The secret to the moisture in the carrot cake. Are you ready? Baby food and pineapples.
Seriously.
Baby food. So she just the pureed carrot baby food and puts it in here, and then some really tiny sliced pineapples.
I thought it was going to be vanilla pudding mix or applesauce or something
Applesauce.
like
People
that.
do applesauce for sure.
Yeah.
What
Baby
what
food.
baby food though? What flavor?
Just like a Gerber carrot baby food.
oh, carrot baby food.
Yeah. Yeah.
I will tell you that it's probably the best carrot cake that I've
Whoa!
ever tasted, chewed up, and spit out.
There you go. Well, I mean,
But it's
of all the
really
carrot cakes
fantastic.
you tasted and spit out, I mean, this is the one.
Yep.
And I
I,
hear
I
she.
would say it's the best carrot cake I've ever tasted.
Wow.
I would honestly
It-
say that.
Wow.
It's delicious.
Wow.
It's
love it.
moist.
Awesome.
I love it refrigerated with the pineapples because then you
cold,
get
right.
texture. It's really good. I like how with the icing, she
Mm-hmm.
uses baby food for the cake, but with the icing, she put in her own breast milk.
No, stop it.
And I
Stop
think
it.
that's what really did
Oh
it
my
for
God,
me.
Brian.
Wow.
Robbie,
Are you
did you
gonna-
like the breast milk in?
Are you going to tell the story? Are you going to tell the story?
What story?
All right.
You're going to tell the story?
Oh, the breast milk shots.
Yeah.
So
Oh man.
no.
We're not going to tell the story.
So Dana and I used to work at
Or a theater in Delaware.
a theater in Delaware, and
You know what? Let's not tell the story.
But it's not.
But no, the owner's wife was Prego, right? And we used to. It was really cool because it was musical theater,
hate this
and
story.
Dan and I, we were like the only two straight
Robbie's,
guys.
like, dying
well,
right
it's,
now.
It's kind of questionable with Dan, but Dan and I, we were like the only straight guys, right? And it was like a musical theater, and at night we had a bar. There was a bar on, which is dangerous. So we
We
would-
paid. It was not an open
Yeah.
bar. We paid our
Yeah, we
way.
paid, but it's so we we would after hours. Everybody
some
be drinking.
drinks.
Maybe play some King's Cup. Do what
King's Cup.
young thespians do when they have no responsibilities in life.
That's right.
And so we would Jameson Bushmills. I think was our.
Bushmills.
We did Bushmills, and she would take her breast milk and shoot it.
It only
First of
happened
all,
once. It's not, they don't talk about it like it's like, oh, and every Saturday night, this
Every
is just our
Saturday night.
thing. We just
So she
no,
would-
it happened once, and I actually think she put her cream in our Kahlua is the way it worked out. If I remember it, that's the way I remember it.
She would hit you with it. You'd be across from her, and she would hit you with it
Oh yeah, no, she was
And then-
like a
and then I
dart
think that's what
throwing
started
champion with breast milk.
with breast milk, and I think that's what started it. Because then we were like, we should put that in shots. So we lined up some shots, and she went down the line. And
Lee Zimmerman is squirming right now.
And weren't we doing them like car bombs or something? Because it would curdle.
Yeah, there was a car bomb at one point.
So we drop it in half a pint of Guinness, and
Lee is squirming. So
Why are
wait,
you
real quick,
squirming? Did that make you uncomfortable?
Sounds like it would
That
go
was a
good with-
lovely story.
real
it would
quick,
go
I
good with
have
Sambuca.
yeah, I have one more dessert treat for us. Oreo is doing these mystery flavors,
Okay.
and they're different all the time. Pass one down, please.
Oh, so we don't. It's a flavor.
So it's a flavor. So I've guessed this flavor. Are you going in?
I'm gonna, yeah, I'll
You're going
taste it
in?
and spit it out. Yep.
Taste it and spit it out here. I'll let you get your own.
Gateway sugar.
Test the fortitude. I
All
have
right.
2 weeks left.
It's not breast milk, Lee. It's not breast
sure?
milk. So
Okay.
they have these mystery Oreos out, and if you win, if you guess the mystery Oreo, you go into their thing, you can win $50,000.
Is it? Oh, so is it all the same?
So it's all. I think it's all the same. Now the last one they did was Mackenzie. Refresh my memory.
Gingerbread. Smells of gingerbread.
Fruity Pebbles was the last one. So gingerbread. He says smells like gingerbread.
Or like cinnamon toast crunch.
All right, chef. What do you think? I already know my guess. Lee's thinking about
Is
it.
the flavor
Chef
in
is
the
thinking-
cookie or the ice cream?
Both. Both. So it's not your. It doesn't taste like a traditional Oreo. It tastes like something else. Now the clue here is, it pairs well with chocolate. That's Oreo's clue. It pairs well with chocolate.
Strawberry?
No, that is not strawberry.
It's Kahlua.
It's Kahlua. It's breast milky. Chef is pondering hard. Did you take a bite of the cookie yet?
Graham cracker.
Yes! That is also my guess. Graham cracker.
I said graham cracker.
Wow.
You said something
Like Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Cinnamon toast crunch. Oh, okay, fair enough. Graham cracker, right?
Graham
That's
cracker.
totally
Yeah,
what
close.
this
That's what
it
particular
is.
one is. So, if anybody wants to figure out the Oreo mystery, that's our guess. I've already submitted it on behalf of Dorks and Forks, but there's a website that you can go to. Just Google Oreo mystery Oreo limited edition and see if you can guess the next mystery on the mystery Oreo. Not a sponsor yet.
Well, I think the time has come. I think Lee agreed to perform a puppet show for us. He set up earlier and put together his stage. We're going to do it. We're going to do a 2-camera shoot, and we're going to release it like a little video. So, all right, next up, Lee Zimmerman,
Puppet
the
guy.
Puppet guy. All right, so to check out this really awesome performance by the Puppet Guy, you're going to have to go and visit us on Facebook and YouTube to watch this video. So go on, just hit pause and open a new page on your laptop or computer and watch it. It's okay, we'll wait. No, seriously, we'll wait. Okay, well, welcome back. That was awesome, right? Huh? Okay, so it's time for us to wrap this show up.
You want to wrap it up real quick?
Yeah, let's just wrap it up. All right, well, that's it.
That was it. It was a great show. I'm very well fed and very well entertained, and I
That's it.
couldn't ask for anything
Yeah.
more.
Chef, thank you so much for coming out.
Oh, you're welcome.
Doing this.
My pleasure. That was. I don't think that I'll ever get to see that again. So it's an awesome afternoon.
This is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
It really
It's
is
great.
cool.
And where can people find you one last time?
You can find me at RobbieJester.com, on Instagram, Robbie_Jester, and Stone Balloon, Limestone Barbecue, Expectations, and Full Circle Food.
Wow.
All right.
Lee, thank you so much.
I had the best time, and that was incredible, Chef Rob. Thank you so much.
The show was much more difficult than anything I could ever do. I appreciate it.
Lee, thanks. So where can people find you one last time?
ThePuppetGuy.com.
Yeah, nice.
Or EtchASketchGuy.com.
Very cool. On Facebook and all that too,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
That's cool.
That's right. And of course, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dorks and Forks. And make sure you subscribe to our channel on your Apple Music and your SoundCloud accounts.
Yeah.
And hopefully wherever you listen to your podcast.
Yeah, follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. So, and Dan, the next place will be is...
The next place will be is at Cult Movies and Trivia, the first Tuesday of every month. So the first Tuesday in October at Oddity Bar here on Green Hill
9
Avenue.
p.m., 21 and over.
That's right. And our movie this year, or this
month.
Halloween.
So, yeah, we Night of the Living Dead. It'll be
That's
the
right.
first Tuesday. And remember, it's always free to play, free to come and watch the movie and win awesome gifts from our sponsors. Pabst Blue Ribbon. We've got Between Books. We have Delaware Normal, the big Canvas advocacy group. And now His and Hers.
His and Hers.
Oh, and AgeOfTheNerd.com.
That's right. That's
So
right.
hope to see you then. Thanks so much for wasting another hour of your life listening to us. See you next time, Dorks and Forks.
Goodbye.
Dorks and Forks is brought to you by His and Hers Adult Boutique. Hosted by Dan Sanchez and Brian Wild. Produced by Heather Brand and Brian Wild. Edited and engineered by Brian Wild. Music and theme song by RKVC. To be a guest on our show, message us on Facebook or Instagram, and don't forget to like and subscribe while you're there.